Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Upper Park, this time episode 5. And I am joined by two awesome disc golfers, but even better people, Mr. Jordan Castro, Mr. Andrew Fish. How we doing, Jordan?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just hanging out here in Charlotte, getting ready for the USDGC.
Oh, I can't wait. My personal favorite event. Fish, how you doing? You haven't been playing tournaments this past couple weeks, right?
Yeah, that's true. I kind of played four in a row with Stafford, Delaware, Maple Hill, and Green Mountain, and then kind of had to dodge as everybody else was heading to the southeast. Still have to work a day job, and I'll be hitting some regional B tiers in the next couple weeks.
Oh, awesome. Uh, Jordan, you didn't play any tournaments this past weekend either, but for separate reasons, right? Could you talk about your maybe past couple weeks?
Yeah, last couple of weeks I took off. I had some personal stuff, some weddings, and some travel stuff that I had to do, and just overall life stuff. So it was kind of nice to take a relax off the body after Vermont. So here to Charlotte a little bit early. Now I'm on week 2 of practice, so I feel good about it. Just feeling way better after 4 or 5 days off. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no doubt. Fish, are you? I have to imagine you've qualified, but are you going to play USDGC?
No, this is always like a tough calculation for me. I actually haven't played since 2015, but I think I've qualified almost every year.
Yeah.
Um, I'd love to play it. It's a major within a day's drive of me. But like, kind of like Jordan is saying, he specifically was taking time to prepare for the course in order to understand like all of the contingencies that are involved with Winthrop and to like not be scared on the tees. You have to get practice days in. So for me, I'd have to take the entire week off because the event starts on Wednesday. You need a practice day on Tuesday at minimum. And then like it's a 10-hour drive for me. So there's a week. I might as well drive down on Saturday and get 3 days of practice instead of cramming it in.
Mm-hmm.
As such, by this time of year, it's more like, okay, I'd rather take a day off to practice for a Friday A tier or something.
Sure. And so one of the more unique, and this is kind of why I like this pairing on the show this week. You guys have very different relationships to disc golf. Jordan, you're full-time touring. You have been for a few years now. It's what you're doing with the large percentage of your life. And Fish, you still have a day job, and this is more, as high level of a hobby really as you could have. How is it balancing, Fish, both of those worlds? Because to compete at this high level, you'd think you need all your effort going into it.
Yeah, it's true. And I think this is kind of an evolution in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 years. As the level of play has gotten higher, as the number of touring pros has increased, it's almost like everyone is ready every single week. And I can tell that I used to be able to go out and get like one day of practice and still put together a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like the level of play is so consistently high across the entire field that that's not possible anymore. Like one bad hole, one bad round can really like move you from ninth place down to 25th real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I've had to be very disciplined in scheduling myself so that I'm not playing too many events in a row, so that I've got that ability to take downtime. But also like knowing that my priority has to be work. Like I'm deliberately focused while I'm there, but then have to be able to switch gears and get my good practice time in. I don't take 5 hours to practice the way that I did when I was 22, but I'll go to the course and get like a solid hour and a half of really, really focused putting.
Mm. So Jordan, like on the contrary, Fish really has to compartmentalize himself when he's doing a lot of this stuff, right? Work then practice, but you're really like full time on the go. Can it almost feel the exact opposite? Like this is too much and it's bogging me down.
Yeah, absolutely. And like this summer was, I mean, we played 4 pro tours in a row,
Yeah.
then pretty much a week off, then do it again. So like to play those 4, have a week off, play the next 4, and I took the next 2-3 weeks off. So, but yeah, when you do it so often, it's just like you need a break. So I wanted to play this weekend at the Clash, and I was like, nah, I got to relax. And like, that's just straight disc golf. So I figured I'm going to play a lot of disc golf to practice for Winthrop, and just kind of after Winthrop, I'll be done for a little bit and just play in Arizona, play some cool stuff, and just kind of take it easy. It's kind of stress relief, and instead of being like a little, be a big dog now again, being in the local competition. So that's always nice too. But yeah, like Fish was saying, like I did the full-time job growing up, and then competing, it's tough. Like you gotta focus on one or the other, or half and half. Then when you focus on your full-time job, on the disc golf course, compared to me, where it's just like I'm full-time on the disc golf course, I'll spend 3-4 hours on the disc golf course, then kind of relax after that. But yeah, it's like you said, you made all good points, and I understand both sides. I'm in the right spot right now where I have almost everything I want, and just don't know what I want to do yet. So I'm just kind of experiencing the disc golf life right now. Then once it kind of slows down, I kind of focus on off the course things too. So yeah, it's been awesome, and the sport's been growing rapidly too. And with all the announcements, and it's just going to get better with the pandemic. It's kind of been nice and fortunate to travel a little bit more, but then again, it's just you never know what's going to happen next too. So
yeah, I mean, as much as like the disc golf world, we don't want to say that like the pandemic has been a good thing by any stretch of the imagination, but in specifically disc golf and in the industry of disc golf, it's completely changed. Just from me, I kind of work in that world and see those numbers every day. It's really shocking how much it's grown. Jordan, you took that week off. You're in Charlotte practicing for USDGC. Do you just play every single round at Winthrop, or are you getting like some fun rounds in at some Charlotte courses?
Yeah, luckily enough, I've been here for a while, so I got to play quite a bit of courses already. Courses I've never played, I've heard about it. Charlotte's a mecca. Mm-hmm. I played Hornets Nest already. I played Rennie Gold. Last year, I played a few other ones. Then tomorrow, Friday, and that's the USDGC doubles. So the course is probably closed. So I'm going to try and find out a course that's not playing for the Clash and go go play another course, just because, I mean, there's so many courses here. I don't even know, almost 50 to 100. I don't know, if not more. So it's crazy just to see all the courses here, and like the support here, and like just the disc golf in general here is amazing. This is like one of the places I would want to live if I had the opportunity to.
Yeah, my personal recommendation is Angry Beaver. It has two courses, Eager and Angry Beaver, right next to it. I played there before right as the tee pads were getting built. They kind of like rebuilt them recently. Oh my gosh, it's like it's one of the 13 courses in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones they're playing for the Clash. I think there's like 5 playing for the Clash, but I don't know if they're doing it because it's a 3-day tournament. I don't know if they're doing it Saturday or Sunday. They've made a post about it. I have to check it out. But yeah, it's amazing here. It's awesome.
So I want to talk a little bit about regional pros as a whole. I'm thinking Fish in the Northeast, kind of thinking, even to a degree, Cam Cole Glazier in the Southeast, Proctor over on the West Coast, Scotty Withers. Is there anyone that either of you, and we'll start with Fish, have seen that doesn't get the coverage or the notoriety that is really a killer on a local level?
I think around me, Chris Villa is one guy that really occurs to me. So Chris didn't start playing until, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, about the same as me. And he's rated maybe 10, 15 or so. But when he gets hot, he doesn't miss. The guy had never played a Masters tournament until Masters Worlds this year, shows up in Tennessee and is on the lead card, tied for the lead every single round. He ended up finishing 4th. He's a delight to play with, and he's got just like incredible hyzer flip game, all backhand, steep hyzer putt. He's the kind of guy that, you look at his rating and it's, 10, 13 or something. And all of a sudden he's on the lead card shooting 1040s every round.
Huh.
And then like there's other guys, like don't forget it, Steve Brenster, Mike Moser.
Of course.
These guys ruled the Mid-Atlantic for a long time. In a way, I wish that I was, 10 years older so that I could have seen them in their primes and like really battled.
Right.
Yeah,
But
100%. Jordan, anybody? I know you spend a lot of your time in Arizona, more of that West Coast vibe.
yeah, so recently from Minnesota and now just living in Arizona. Minnesota, I mean, everybody knows like Kale and Geisinger, like those two are like the top two. I mean, Geisinger kind of took a little break, but I
Hmm.
mean, same way. I think he can get hot, and he's recently playing again. I texted him a few days ago, and he's just, dude, I wish I was on tour right now. My game feels so good. He's like, I wish I was at the course just shredding. I was like, dude,
Uh,
Winthrop is a course where he could do it. Like,
yes.
I think Nate Doss and like Sexton told him just like, dude, you're gonna win this tournament one year. Like once you're here, you're here. You're like you're gonna win. And like I believe it. He has the sidearm, he has the putt, he has the throw. But Arizona, I mean, it's a hit or miss. You got all those gamers. Like everywhere you go, I think there's a lot of underrated gamers too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were on tour or just even competed for summer, but that's just a full time job, they would score well and perform well too. So it's a little bit of everything. But yeah, the Northeast, the West, like everywhere you go, there's solid players. So
Yeah. Fish, change the subject a little bit. You snuck in there, and this is something that I didn't know. You've only been playing 7 or 8 years.
I guess let's see. I guess it just turned 9 years. I picked up a disc in fall 2012 and then didn't get a PDGA membership until 2013. But
So,
I mean, to you that's not very long. But like my PDGA number is 58,000. There's now more than 3 times as many
yes,
PDGA members.
yes.
dang, I'm,
So,
I'm
like,
at 49. I
right?
joined in 2011.
Old school now.
I had no idea.
Well, talk about how you got into the game because, and please correct me if I'm wrong. The story I have is that former Ultimate player, you were originally more of a frisbee like sport athlete, and then got into it a little later. So talk about how you got into it, maybe that transition.
Yeah, for sure. My story kind of mirrors what a bunch of pretty good touring pros are doing now. So I started playing Ultimate in high school and then went to Georgia Tech for college, and I played 5 years of Ultimate there. In my last year, we went to nationals, but I had been nursing a really bad ankle injury for a year and a half at that point. So it wasn't realistic for me to continue playing like a really high impact sport where I couldn't run. I wasn't a functional player at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So I happened to be in the gym and I saw the disc golf team like breaking down their table. I said, "Hey, can I come play with y'all?" They said, "Yeah, meet us at Perkerson Park in Atlanta for a round this Saturday." So I did, and like 2 weeks later, I was playing the Southeast Collegiate Invitational at the IDGC.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy.
So it
Um,
escalated quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And like at that point I was entirely relying on like throwing steep hyzer flips with really flippy discs because that's all that I knew. And since that time, like I've certainly gravitated more towards disc golf because like it's almost like I got too good at disc golf to like throw my time at Ultimate.
Yeah.
I played a couple seasons of Club Ultimate while I was in Baltimore, but I haven't done that in a few years. I kind of stick to a couple leagues, and next year is my first year of Masters eligibility for Ultimate. That starts at 33.
Oh,
So,
that's
depending on the scheduling, I might join up for regionals and nationals with a local team here.
I feel like that's very telling to the athleticism required for Ultimate. That like Masters is like, listen, 28 years old, you're bumping out, kid. Like 33,
Right.
that's so young for like the old man division.
Yeah, I mean it certainly is for disc golf, but disc golf makes you be really good at one skill at throwing.
Yeah.
There's different ways of doing that, different discs, different shapes. But with Ultimate, like you have to throw, you have to play defense, you have to jump, you have to run. Like it legitimately requires hitting the gym for 7 months in the off season in order to feel good about yourself come the season.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, and probably why I just stick to disc golf because all that running thing, I don't know, it never jived with me. I'm a baseball player at heart. It's just, I don't know. Jordan, one unique aspect to your touring and life situation that honestly I think not a lot of people talk about is you are balancing, and please stop me if you don't want to go down this road, but you're balancing a relationship and touring a lot, or you have at least somebody back home. How do you balance those things? Because it's something that I do too. I have to go on the road. I leave my girlfriend here, and it's we're all kind of inventing how we do it on our own. How has that been for you?
Yeah, this is actually like the first year. I mean, we've been together year and a half, so almost like the pandemic. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
tough. It has its pros and cons or whatever, but it's very challenging. It's kind of like she wants me to like pursue my dream of disc golf, like perform, but then she's like, "Oh, you want to be? I want you here." So it's pros and cons, but
Mm-hmm.
we came once the tour schedule comes out, we kind of pick and choose events or whatever too. So it's nice. I want to perform and play all these tournaments, but then again, it's just like future wise, our relationship is growing better and better each day. So we talk constantly, text constantly, FaceTime almost every night. So it's just a work in progress, and I think it's going to go better for sure. Next year with the big pro tour. So she's came out to the Des Moines Challenge, and
Oh, nice.
she doesn't understand it right away, but then like she knows me as Jordan, like boyfriend wise. She doesn't
Yeah.
know me as Jordan the disc golfer. So like when she came out to Des Moines, like I said, the first time seeing a big event, and she's just like watch my round, watch all the fans, and like that wasn't even like a big like fan wise compared to like the normal ones that we play.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like kind of pukes in her mouth when like someone asks for an autograph because she's like, because it's funny because the first time that we went to a disc golf course, she's like, I want to play. I want to try finally. I was like, right, cool. I've been trying to get her to play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, I'm just trying to let you know, there's probably people out here. I'm going to get noticed. And I'm like, she's like, no way, I don't believe it. 35 autographs at this local course in Phoenix. Like she didn't believe it. And she's just like so embarrassed. And I was like, it happens. Like I'm
Yeah.
just a person good at Frisbee, but yeah, pros and cons. And I'm very fortunate to have that support person with me too. So
Yeah. No, it's so funny that I had that exact same experience. So not 35 autographs, but we went out golfing with her two brothers. They live in the Truckee Tahoe area. We're like on vacation. I had like 4 discs in a little plastic bag. And literally we walk onto the first hole and people are like, wait, is that Johnny Disc Golf? Oh! And her
yeah,
brothers are like, who? Wait, what? They had no idea how to YouTube channel.
right,
The whole
right.
thing is so funny.
It's like what other sport can you get up that close to pros too? Like
Exactly.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
It is awesome, and honestly, the farther we go, like the Pro Tour announcement just came out that there's going to be a tour card, all that good stuff. Like, are we in the golden age of accessibility right now? Because I feel like we're right on the cusp of losing losing the degree of accessibility that we have right now to the pros. And we're like as far into the sport's development while still having the original amount of accessibility. Like, Fish, do you see that as a good thing, bad thing, neutral thing? How do you see that relationship playing out?
Yeah, I think you're spot on that like we're at a size where if you want to go talk to Paige Pierce or Ricky Wysocki or Kevin Jones or Jordan Castro while they're playing a practice round or grabbing dinner or something, like 2 minutes of everyone's time isn't that big a burden. But like if this sport doubles in size again, like all of a sudden that demand for access to people is going to be like, no, like I
Yeah.
need my own personal space here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that's kind of the pro and con of growth, where like it's enabling lots of players to go on tour and have their like whatever level of fame they want on social media too. Um, but when we start getting into bigger contracts and bigger payouts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to inevitably shift. It's not
Yes.
just going to be determined by like what the player is willing to put out for themselves. It's going to be governed by how much time they can afford to give individual fans. And like, I like the egalitarian part where I can have a normal conversation with anybody on the disc golf course, but I don't want it to be, what I don't want to have happen is make it so that you have to like pay for access.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be able to talk to somebody in an autograph line or something.
Yeah, and we're seeing this. I'm sure you guys have seen it at the events, but like the pros will get off the course and there's 100-person line after every single round to get an autograph. And like Paul Macbeth, his big line is like, "What sport do you go to where you're guaranteed an autograph from your favorite player?" Like it doesn't exist. That's
Right.
why they're so cool and rare. Is like, oh, I got it and came up close. How does that resonate with you, Jordan? Do you kind of slide that same way or not?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with Fish and what he's saying, but like you were just saying too, it's like Paul gets 100 people. I play with Paul a final round or something, and I got 15. It's 20. His is
Hmm.
100 plus each round too. So especially like I'm a top pro, like middle or whatever, or just very, or whatever you want to call it. I'm right there, and just imagine Ricky and Paul, like they do that. They do that constantly every day. I don't mind it. I'm just kind of like fact that I'm here and get to do it for a little or whatever. But yeah, there's been some rare occurrences where I'll be like taking a bite and someone comes up and wants to
Hmm.
autograph while I'm having dinner. So there's like pros and cons. Like people are getting better at it and just like not kind of interfering with your personal life too, and just like they're doing it on the course, which is I like a lot too. So
Yeah, I feel like me and you are in a fairly similar, actually probably all three of us in a fairly similar like truly D-list celebrity situation where in specific circles we're very well known, but like we're never going to get recognized getting gas or like
right,
at the grocery store or something. And I've always felt it's like the perfect balance of those two worlds.
right.
Um, Andrew, one thing I'm very particularly interested in is how pervasive is disc golf in your like work and non-disc golf life? Are you like the disc golf guy, the frisbee guy, or is it like they'd never know that you were interested in it?
Um, when Jordan was talking about his girlfriend's experience at Des Moines Challenge and like it being a surprise how many people recognize him, it's the same sort of thing for me where before Worlds, I'll send out a small email or something to people saying, you can follow me on UDisc Live, check results here. If I play really well, like I could make this live stream or post produce coverage. Um, and, I'll get coworkers who will check in on it and say, I had no idea it was that big. I thought you were just like throwing things in the park. Uh,
Wow. And like little do they know you had like a really like a gnarly three-hole playoff for the win, and people are cheering. You come in Monday like, oh yeah, I'm here.
yeah, yeah. And it's always a little bit surreal. Uh, like after Green Mountain, after D-Glow, I was back at work in Baltimore on Monday. Like finished my tea time. 15 minutes later, I'm driving 70 miles an hour.
Wow.
Um, it's I think among the people that I'm close to at work, like they know how seriously I take it.
Hmm.
I'm actively training to be really good. But the people that I work with and just nod to in the hallway, they probably have no idea. They
Oh, I
I'm
love
the
it.
that I'm the same lame 32-year-old guy with like a dog and a mortgage or something.
Well, I mean, whether you play disc golf or not, the latter's true, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Right.
uh, oh, how do you like? How do you get in the car and drive? Like, I don't know. I just know a lot of these people who would just probably not go to a tournament if it meant that like the margins are that small. It's like, man, I gotta drive after work on a Thursday, rip it 8 hours, go play Friday. Like, does that not bother you at all? And you're like, I am a gamer and I'm in.
I don't think you or anybody else understands how much I love frisbee. Like just watching a disc fly, but I'm like I love competition, and it drives me bats to see Jordan and everybody else on tour having fun every single week. Like
Hmm.
I want to be out there. That is not currently my life circumstance.
Yeah.
Um, so this year I made a very conscious effort because I didn't get to play very many large events in 2020 that I was going to make every pro tour and national tour that like really made sense for my travel schedule.
Hmm.
Early in the year, I wanted to go to Texas, but vaccines weren't prevalent at that point.
Sure.
I wasn't going to fly until it was evident that it was going to be safe.
Hmm.
So like I went to Ledgestone, I went to D-Glow, I went to the Northeast Swing. Um, Next year, I'm eagerly awaiting the Elite Series schedule drop so that I can like start planning. Like
Hmm.
whenever that comes out, like that lunch hour is going to be spent writing down every tournament that I think I can make it to, and then
Oh,
look, looking on Southwest or trying to Google Map and see if I can do
Plan
it
it all.
with or without a day off.
Yeah, I think Jeff was saying within the next few days.
oh, I
Hopefully,
know.
yeah. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Give it to me. Like I want to plan. Like I'm a planner. Like
Yep.
my girlfriend says, "Oh, you're not a planner," but like when it comes to disc golf, I'm 100% planner. I already text my host, "Hey, I'm coming next year."
Dude, I know. I'm such a schemer too. Like, there's
Right.
nothing I love when that is announced, and I'm going through like, ooh, which ones could I skip and spend like 3 or 4 extra weeks at home, and then catch it on this next one. I love
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Fish, I want to back up a little bit. We've talked about your work. We've talked about the fact that that's a majority of what you have to put your focus on. What is your work?
I am a stormwater plan reviewer for Baltimore County, Maryland. So anytime somebody wants to build a McDonald's or a self storage or a like condos or something, they got to go through me. Far less important than that. I'm not really the gatekeeper so much as like I'm facilitating development in a way that's responsible. So if somebody's designing a project, they're obligated to provide stormwater management in some way. That's because of our proximity to the Chesapeake Bay, but it's also just environmentally responsible to do that. So I look at what their design is and then either say, well, this doesn't meet what the state or county code says it has to, or I give suggestions on how to make it better so that it fits into the site and makes more sense.
Have you ever like bonded with this, bonded with Ian Anderson over like similarities in your work? Because he's an industrial engineer for Jack in the Box, and not that it's a 1-to-1, you guys are doing the same thing, but it seems very similar in that it's like running simulations and doing, it's funny how a lot of people like that are drawn to disc golf.
Mm-hmm. I haven't spoken with Ian specifically, but yeah, whenever I talk to engineers, it's like we have the same processing mechanisms for life in general,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether we're working on like diesel engines or
Yeah.
stormwater uh, or Jack in the Box.
Yeah, or robotic fryers that drop the fries in. That's literally what he's doing right now. I was with him the other day. It's so funny. I've been in meetings
Well,
with him, and this is a side note, and he'll have it on speaker, and they're like, the amount of passion these people have for like brioche buns is unbelievable. Like a 4-hour meeting on should we pre-butter the brioche or butter it on site? Like, oh my god, it's insane.
Regardless of what you're going to do, be good at it. Enjoy.
Yes,
yep.
yes. Jordan, you've been on tour for a few years now. You know, I would say, and correct me if you don't think this is true, your first year, maybe 2 on tour, it's very frantic, and one of the hardest things to do is just learn the courses, get your bearings, figure out where you're going to stay, the logistics of it all. You're kind of past that point to a degree, I would imagine, at least for a lot of the stops. So what is that next like hurdle? What's the next challenge? What keeps your brain occupied on during your trips?
I think it's just like having enough practice time, getting to the course, just preparing myself. And like I tell myself this all the time. Like I know I'm here. Like I can do it. I just got to put all the pieces together. It's like my consistency is a little struggling. Usually end of the season, I'm kind of mentally checked out just because I set January 1st comes, I set 20 goals. I hit goals by Goat Hill, and that's middle of the season. So it's just like I hit all my goals, and like my last goal is to cash at USDDC. So it's just like I did all that, and then I think that might be a little mindset of it. But then again, just like I look over at like my rounds, I play well. I mean, I just got to do everything, and just traveling wise, like I get to enjoy the beautiful country and I get to catch up with all my hosts. Everywhere I go, I got a host. So like that's been super nice and fortunate to do all that.
Yeah, no question. And speaking of kind of the hosts that you stay with, there's a note on my fridge. You stay at the place that I just moved out of. You stayed for SFO in 2018. Your host Ashley, that's my girlfriend now. But I'm like, we look at it all the time. It's still hung. You, Chris, and and
Presnell.
Andrew, yeah, Presnell was all there. We're all
Yeah,
there. Joel,
she was
Joel Freeman.
awesome. Yeah, Joel. Yeah, we had like 4 or 5 people there. It was super cool, super
Yeah, it was
awesome
insane.
experience too.
Um, what is? I mean, speaking of San Francisco Open, it's not on tour anymore. What is a tournament that isn't on tour, or maybe that you don't play anymore that you wish you could get back and play again? Let's start with Jordan.
I think it comes to the Zootown Open in Missoula, Montana. That I played there one time. I'm never gonna miss this tournament. It's just. I think this year might have been Idlewild or something. I was just like, dang it. We stay with the Sheehans, and Ian stays there too, and we got the whole crew there. And the Sheehans take care of us. We get our. It's like a little vacation work spot at the same time. The course is awesome. The people are awesome, and the views are awesome. It's just like an underrated place too. I was telling, it's like a second family. I was telling my girlfriend, it's like we might just take a trip out here, like to go meet them and just to go play and just the experience is awesome. Like I've seen the history, like growing up, and I see Dana go there all the time. Kale went there all the time. Dietrich, the living legend, he just rocks that course too. So it was just to see those guys and just actually experience it for the first time. So that's my number one. Like, all right, when's this planning out? And it's usually around Father's Day too. So I played my best round on Father's Day there too. So it's very sentimental and
nice
course record on the golf course, and it was on Father's Day. So it meant a lot. So it just that's the one I look forward to.
That's awesome and a great choice. Two things. One, Bohart Ranch. It closed a few years ago, but that's like one that's on my list as well. It's not the same tournament. It's Rocky Mountain Championships. I haven't had it in a few years, but that Montana area just has some unbelievable, I would say disc golf, but just terrain and just like earth there is incredible. And number two, Christian Dietrich, another one for the list of like regional, just absolute killers. Fish, any tournaments or courses that that your favorites or something that's sentimental that we don't get a chance to play anymore?
I don't think I ever went on tour enough to like hit the ones that have died. I wish that the Hall of Fame Classic was at IDGC still, but I mean, we're sort of replacing that with the Champions Cup next year.
Yes.
So that's good. A course that folks might not have heard of yet that they really should is Lake Marshall.
Thank you. I was going there next.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you talk about it and pitch me on Lake Marshall?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So Lake Marshall is about an hour east of Fredericksburg, Virginia, maybe an hour and a half southeast of DC. It is completely worth a detour whenever you're driving up and down the East Coast. They have 3 courses on site. The Lions, which is like a 1020 par, the Lair, which is about a 970, 980 par, and then the Lambs, which is more of a beginner course. It's got 2 overlapping 9 and 18 hole layouts. So 54 holes on site. Turf tee pads, and it's around this huge lake. So water comes into play on a bunch of holes. It was very specifically laid out. Like each hole and each course was laid out with the target user group in mind. So like put in with a whole bunch of care, lots of wood shots that were cleared, but also many open bomb opportunities. Like I think that this is representative of the future of disc golf, because within the last couple of years, as distance and shot shaping and like every player having a forehand has evolved, a lot of the courses on tour haven't really. So I think that Lake Marshall is pretty darn balanced, and it's the kind of place that needs to be thought of and then executed like in order to challenge its user groups better.
Absolutely. And I think specifically on the pro scene, one of the things that we are going to see more and more, and frankly, it will probably take over as the leading way that we play or leading courses, is that like private built for championship level golf. I almost can't think of any courses on tour now that check all the boxes of like long enough to challenge everyone, technical enough to be engaging, good for fans, internet, parking, facilities, and places like Lake Marshall at least have that opportunity to be that. We can. It's got enough. The only problem is that it's a little bit out in the middle of nowhere, right? So getting there is difficult, correct?
Right. It's pretty remote. There really aren't hotels or a large number of hotels or other amenities within a reasonable driving distance. There is camping on site, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like all the golf elements are there. The land is perfect for it, but it doesn't have the host area that I'm sure many of the PDGA and Pro Tour officials are really looking for.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm just so Eagles Crossing is like another one that I've heard come up a lot. I haven't watched every single hole and like looked and broke it down. Jordan, have you played it? Do you have any perspective? Do you know people that have?
I haven't played it yet, but I've seen the skins match, and it looks epic. I've heard a lot of friends like, "Hey, I went and play this course. This is amazing." Yeah, it looks sweet. Every hole was super challenging, and I hang out with Fresno a lot, and he played a couple tournaments there already. He's like, "Dude, this is the spot. This is the spot."
Nice.
And especially the skins, a lot of the guys that were there, they basically said it's probably one of the best properties they played on. It's just in the middle of nowhere, just like Lake Marshall is, and they just don't really have anything there too. And like, I think the biggest complaint they were saying was the baskets too. I mean, that's a different conversation, I think too. So, but yeah, it looks sweet, and the shots were. I just got like I see the drone footage. I was like, dude, how do you get there? How do you get to the basket? Well, what would I throw? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest compliment you can give a course is that when you see the holes, all you can think about is how you can throw it, how you can attack it, something like that. Speaking about attacking holes, I want to get you guys out of here, but I like to end these by asking you, what is your favorite or most memorable ace? The throw that you and frankly, it could be any throw, but I think ace usually. But like, what is the throw that stands out to you as your favorite throw, Fish?
Oh, I was hoping you're going to ask Jordan first.
Okay, well, no, let's go to Jordan.
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
I think the thing the shot that occurs to me most is it was my second ace. It was playing long to long at hole 17 at Perkerson Park in Atlanta, and I'd been playing probably less than a year, and I threw this shot that like felt a little yanked out of my hand, but it was like drifting, and the hole's like 370, so there's plenty of flight time, and it just like comes back and like really soft landing perfectly in the basket with witnesses. And that like, it was really edifying to throw that because I like consistently I'd just been bailing out left on it. It was really, really cool to get the reward of I threw a good shot and I don't have to putt.
And it's early on in your career, right?
Yeah.
That's like so impactful. Those are the shots that I think like instill that lifelong passion. I mean, you already had the Frisbee passion, but it locks it in at that point.
Yeah. And, but by this point, I can ace run a lot of baskets. So it's just a matter of like, when is it going to go in?
Yeah.
That one had all the elements of like good throw, luck, and like at the very edge of my skill level at the time.
That's the perfect throw then. Shoot. Jordan, hit me.
Yeah, so this one, this gets me every time I tell it. 2015 is my first year kind of playing professionally. I first year playing pro. I won 2 tournaments in Minnesota, and I was like, all right, let's go to the Memorial. And we were at Fountain Hill. This is after Am World, so I was like, people knew who I was. I was a bigger guy, and a buddy walks up. He's just like, hey, how you doing? And I was just like, I'll let you know after this throw. And it was hole 14, the one with the electrical box. I just threw a spike hyzer, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I sent it, like that's gone, like that might be in the lake to the left or whatever. And it hits the tree, bounces backwards into the basket, and like I'm playing with Seppo, I'm playing with Max, and they were just like, they heard the whole story and like saw it, and they're like, oh my gosh, did that just happen? And, like I turned around, and they're like, go run it down, go run it, go get it, like. And that's when like Terry Miller was filming like La Putka live coverage, so it's like on live coverage, and like there's hundreds of people out there, and you can just see the camera turn and like running, like you can just see me running down the cliff or whatever, and getting it. It was just like, oh my gosh, and I was like 300 pounds. I was so big, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like huffing and puffing, but like it was just crazy. It's like, how you doing? I was like, I'll let you know after this throw, like just as a joke, and kind of like ricocheted backwards in, and like the best guy on the way. So to this day, every day I play Fountain Hills because now I'm in Arizona. It's like 25 minutes away, and the mark is still in the tree. He's like, dude, I was standing close to the basket. Here's the mark. Like, you could literally see the slash in the tree. And
Dude,
just
that's
like,
too
it
good.
just brings up so much memories. And yeah, it was just an epic story.
Oh man, that is a legendary one. I like the
Right.
ricochet ace is it has that element of like completely unexpected that like
Right.
the exact opposite. I love it. No, ricochet ace, I'm all in. There's a couple of baskets at Golden Gate Park, 17D in particular, that like is the dream kick ace. Like two trees right next to the basket. Oh my gosh, audio is gonna be weird. I
Miss
moved the
your
mic,
line,
but
it's in. Either
yeah,
way.
no, 100%. So the putts that go into anyway, I could go on for days. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. I want to give each of you a chance to thank who you want, though. Throw out some shout outs. Fish, start us off.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I want to thank Discraft. I've been with them for 5 years. I certainly hope to be with them again in 2022. They make great plastic. I love throwing it. And of course, Upper Park. Obviously, we're facilitating this, but I've been carrying Upper Park bags for about 4 years. I'm on my second ones. I couldn't be happier. I think I use the shift like every day, regardless of whether it's disc golf or something else.
Totally. I'm a shift guy. I'm a small bag dude. So the shift is perfect for like Golden Gate Park, 10, 12 discs, throw it in, play. Jordan, what about you?
Yeah, I like to thank MVP and, of course, Upper Park for having Fish and Johnny have this for us. Especially Martin, thank you for all the support. And I just got off the phone with him today, and we continue our partnership for next year too. So I'm really excited about that. And me personally, I rock the Rebel. Would rock the Shift. I just want that extra couple few discs and a couple extra towels. I throw 7-8 discs around, and I just kind of like the extra discs just in case I get into a situation where I need them. So thanks for having us, and you can follow us on social media too. So we're just people, and we're really good at disc golf. So just reach out if you have any questions or anything. So
Yeah, I actually want to echo that sentiment, man. We're all just people out here. The whole tour, it's just a bunch of humans. And at this point, like, it's a traveling roadshow of carnies and just people having fun. And I'm just so happy to be able to do this. I left my job late 2017, and I've been doing disc golf media this whole time since. So, again, echo your sentiments. Thanks to everyone involved. But that's about all we have for episode 5 of Ask Upper Park. Tune in next time for episode 6.